Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Bissell, and I am a third-year student here at NC State.
Yep. Sorry, I cut you off there, Michael. My name is Kenneth Precious. I am the Events and Operations Coordinator at the NC State Entrepreneurship, and we're here with the team at Summit Kinetics. Thank you so much for joining us. If you could go ahead and introduce yourselves real quick.
Okay, I'm Ethan. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering. We'll be graduating this May.
My name is Alyssa. I'm also a senior in mechanical engineering, and I'll be graduating this December.
My name is Jake. I am a senior in biomedical engineering, and I will be graduating in December.
I'm Amy. I'm a chemical engineer, and I'll graduate in December.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. So we do have some questions for you, but as the show goes on, we'll also be taking questions from the audience. So if you guys are watching this in the audience, please feel free to leave a question in the comments, and we'll select questions at the end of the interview. With that being said, let's get started with our first question. So, Summit Kinetics, would you mind telling us a little bit about your venture and what specific problem are you guys trying to solve?
So we are a group of individuals who have all experienced loved ones who struggle or have struggled with mobility. And we all knew that when we formed that our passion was to make direct positive impacts on the lives of people around us. So we decided to try to create something that will begin to tackle these mobility issues, starting with assistance from sitting to standing and stability while walking. This is a wearable device around the knee that provides a mechanical advantage by storing potential energy. And this could help people with minor knee cartilage degenerative pains to people who need assistance moving in everyday positions.
All right, awesome. Really cool to see see your product develop through the stages of the application and the competition. Now that you're kind of at the end of the competition though, what's your biggest need for your business? What's your next step?
So the biggest need right now is, of course, since we have the funding now, is just getting these iterations on. So we really want to try to, one, develop 2 exos. So you guys probably saw in our first video that we applied to that it was very basic, and then it started evolving even more. We actually just came up with a new design out right now, and that we really want to try to get started building with it. Granted, with the whole coronavirus, that is sort of halted a little bit. But the main thing is just trying to get materials and equipment so we can start getting those iterations going in and start making more of these so we can start pushing them out and testing.
Perfect. Sounds great. And so building off of that, what would you say your biggest need right now is to fulfill that, or your next big step, and how will your winnings from the eGames help you guys get there?
So essentially with the winnings, we can go out, we can really start talking to more experts. Hopefully we get even more mentors. We already have some right now. We want to be expanding that to hopefully get like patent applications through. So funding for that is going to be really key. Material research, so seeing what works best, i.e. in contact with skin, with our system inside, and then also just the main thing is just plain funding at this point. And granted, we got a lot from the games, but for these iterations to go through and our patents to go through, we need it.
Awesome. So speaking of kind of the competition itself, what was the most difficult aspect of your business to kind of polish up or convey to the judges during the competition itself?
Yeah, so in the beginning, from our customer interviews and our market and competition research, we knew that there was a need for a device like EXO. So we had to take a careful look at what was most important to our target market. So those people who at the time, or I guess still currently, don't have that kind of middle road solution that they need. And we used that to differentiate our product. So once we solidified our key aspects, it was much easier to build that first prototype toward those targets and then physically convey what we have to offer. So last semester we pitched for Wolf Den and had a lot of success there, but we faced a challenge of selling our product features without having an actual physical prototype yet. So that really pushed us to think more about like, what do our teammates have to offer? As all engineering students, we had to pull from all of our skill sets and kind of try to get judges more to invest in us as a team and our strength there rather than the product. But coming into the eGames, we had that physical prototype built out and printed thanks to Ethan. And it really, really helped us and was very powerful in terms of getting our message across, because if you tell someone you're making like a passive exoskeleton, I think the first thing that pops in their head is more of something like an Iron Man suit or something like that. So we really, really like having our physical prototype. And that was something that we really, really pushed hard to get, and that's where our funding is going to go, so that we can continue to convey that better and better to people who might want to invest in our product.
It's amazing. Sounds like you guys are taking the exact right steps. And so with that being said, would you say that there's any aspect of your business that you now know you need to work on due to the feedback you received from the judges at the eGames?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to intro, my name is Jennifer, and I'm a senior majoring in chemical engineering, graduating in May. And yeah, first of all, we just wanted to say that we're really grateful for the feedback from the judges. I think it's a rare thing for students to kind of be able to present their ideas and really go out and pitch it to industry leaders and industry professionals. And so we're really thankful for the eGames in giving us that opportunity to present our ideas. We did a lot of internal reflection as a team after we got the feedback back from the judges, and we noticed that there were a few common things that we can definitely work on in the future. The first thing is just realizing that since we're at a certain point in our prototyping process, that it may be important to start looking into how we want to patent our product, or how we want to tackle the time-intensive and resource-intensive process of becoming FDA regulated, since we would be considered a Class 1 medical device. And so something that we really took into heart is that, okay, these are things that we want to start looking at early on, so we're not scrambling to try to catch up later on. Another thing that we noticed was just providing more clarity for our actual product. I think our product is something that you really have to strap on and try yourself to truly experience. But unfortunately, we can't go out and make 100 exos and ship them all to different people to have them try it on. And so something that we want to do is make it more accessible to a customer. So doing things such as making videos or interviews to kind of explain how our product works for other people. And the last main thing that we really took from the feedback was that you can never do enough customer or market research to adjust the product. I think sometimes what happens is that people are so excited, and so they make this prototype, and then they have this prototype fit a certain person, or mold the customer to how your prototype works. Whereas what we're really trying to do is make a really iterative prototyping process so that our product functions for the customer. And so kind of those three main points were the things that we really took and are really taking into account as we work later on in this product in the future.
Awesome. So the eGames, is pretty competitive. Do you have any advice for students that are thinking about participating in future years?
Yes, I think that one of the biggest, most important things is to be able to find creative ways to convey the big purpose behind your product or your service. So in terms of just pitching to someone, to an investor, you want to make sure that you can find a way to connect with them so that they can kind of understand it's not just a product, but what is the full experience that it can bring to someone and why is it necessary to them. In terms of the actual application, we found it really, really helpful to prepare our business plan thoroughly. And you want to be resourceful about that. We really were fortunate because we have the mentorship of, we have some mentors at Plexus, which is a local company that kind of does a lot in the realm of medical device work. So we were able to really pull from that and then make sure that we as a team had been preparing along the way, so that when it came time to submit all those documents, we could focus more on the way we present our information in a creative and exciting way, rather than trying to scramble and pick up all the pieces at the very end.
Perfect. So with that presentation being said, is there a particular market or audience that you would like to address with EXO first?
Yes, there absolutely is a specific market or audience that we're trying to address. Something that we realized was before we did most of our stuff, we actually did a lot of customer interviews. And like I said, a lot of us know a lot of people who have this trouble with mobility. And it just ended up happening that we saw this common thing among the geriatric community and the older population and the older market, that they really do struggle with this. And a lot of the current products on the market that are trying to tackle these mobility issues are either way too expensive or way too complex, or simply not being sold in the US. And so something that we're trying to target first is that geriatric market, especially as the population is aging in the next few years. We think that this is a really great place to specifically start with EXO, but we're definitely looking more into other potential markets. We see a lot of need in terms of maybe even more performance enhancing exoskeletons, and not just for everyday mobility. And so we're definitely looking and doing a lot of market research into that area as well.
All right, awesome. So I wanted to ask kind of where we can learn a little bit more about your endeavor.
So right now we're actually in the process of developing a website. So that should be open in the next few weeks. I've been working really hard on that and it looks great. Get excited. We also have an Instagram account, the Summit Kinetics. And so with that, we're gaining followers, posting our progress throughout the entrepreneurs. And yeah. Oh, and we have a YouTube account. I forgot.
Awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to checking that stuff out as it comes out. Before we let you go, is there any mentors or anyone that you wanted to give a shout out to?
Yeah, we'd like Plex's mentors, Caitlin Steen and Christina Penzabine. We also want to thank the Engineering Entrepreneurship Program at NC State, especially our fabulous professors, Marshall Brain, Seth Holler, and Beryl Pittman. They've all been fabulous and they've helped us so much throughout this process.
Perfect. Great names to mention. And unfortunately, that is all the time we have. So thank you so much, Summit Kinetics. And once again, guys, congratulations on all your hard work and success and your first place finish in the social entrepreneurship event in the 2020 Lulu eGames. And thanks everybody for tuning in. That concludes our eGames interviews for the week.
All right.
Once again,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Bye-bye.